Hey, what's up you beautiful feckers, how you all doing? So let's talk DevStream, shall we? There was a lot of new stuff mentioned and shown on DevStream 87, some fun items, some concerning topics or choices as well. So if you want to go and watch it, then pop over to Play Warframes channel to watch the full DevStream, and of course there is the timestamp guy in the comment section if there's a specific part of the DevStream you actually want to watch. Now the main topic of this video is the changes mentioned with regards the Eximus units that we've seen in the DevStream and how they will be adding invincible phases to some of them, or the addition of invulnerability to common Eximus units in normal missions beyond, I think it was level 50. So there will be a 30% chance that when an Eximus unit spawns into your mission, it will be invulnerable until you shoot its weak points. This 30% can climb up to as high as 50% once the enemy levels begin to scale up. So the higher the enemy levels, the higher the chance of spawning one of these invulnerable Eximuses into your actual mission. At the minute this is only on infested units, but they did mention that they hope to implement something similar on all faction Eximus units eventually. So this is an Achilles heel type of mechanic where Eximus units with these weak points will have to be dealt with in a specific way by shooting the weak points and then being able to destroy the Eximus after that. So basically you have to weaken them by shooting these points and then you can destroy the Eximus. These might become your main priority in every mission you run simply because of the way Eximus units work with their aura. And right now with this topic there are a lot of what ifs and imagine this type of scenarios going around, and until we know more it's pretty hard to properly discuss the addition of this to Eximus units, or until it's been actually implemented. So the veteran community in Warframe for a long time now has been asking for more of a challenge, better AI or new enemy types for us to play against, but instead we're getting more invincible types of enemies. So be careful what you wish for, because it might not be what you actually hoped it would be. DE's train of thought seems to be that adding an invincible stage to enemies is what they consider challenging, because in the dev stream they also mentioned the upcoming Nef Annual battle and the Ambulance changes both possibly having that type of phase to their battle, and we already have others who have the same type of invulnerable stage or mechanic to their fight in the game right now, like Juggernauts or Manix or Sargus Rook and so on. To me it seems like a bit of a narrow-minded way of looking at things. Oh, you want a bit of a challenge? Okay, then let me quickly just cop out and add in some more invulnerability, because it's not like you've seen that in the game before. Granted, with something like a boss battle or with mini bosses in the game, I can kind of understand this invulnerable mechanic because of how powerful our weapons are, but why add it to a commonplace unit like Eximus units in the game? Units that we meet in every high level mission. In fact, imagine an Eximus stronghold sortie with this type of mechanic being added into it. It has the potential to become incredibly tedious very fast and potentially drive away players from the game, which is completely the wrong direction. What do you mean fix enemy scaling or enemy AI? Stop talking sense. Why fix AI when we can just grant invulnerability? It fixes everything. Now I'm sure some of you will be saying get good, learn to aim, but that's really not the problem here with this change. That's not the real issue. There are much more concerning points to think about when you actually think about this being implemented into the game. During the dev stream, when Rebecca was fighting the Eximus charger, one of its weak points was behind it, which meant it was nearly impossible to hit without the addition of crowd control. Every time she jumped over the charger, it spun around to face her again, leaving the weak point behind it. So with crowd control this won't be an issue, but without crowd control it could be damn near impossible, which means crowd control is going to be a necessity for dealing with Eximus units, which means you're forcing your player base towards certain Warframe and leaving others even more useless than they might have been before when it comes to crowd control. So you may be forced to play with Warframes that you don't necessarily enjoy playing. But for the sake of things, let's talk about some of the other what-if scenarios. Please don't take these serious, they are just whimsical little magical tales of what if. Imagine you're being swarmed by a large crowd of infested enemies while loads of different coloured visual effects are going on from Warframe abilities and enemy units around you. Loads of shit going on your screen while you try to find the Eximus unit with its tiny little weak points and destroy them. Add in explosive weapons or gas effects and it's going to make it pretty hard to see those little weak points, let alone manage to hit them without the addition of a lot of crowd control. And a worst case scenario, and for me this would be the worst case, pretty much overkill, you could be running a Kuva flood infested mission with level 100 Kuva guardians that are already immune to damage until you use your Tenno abilities. At the same time, you have an Invulnerable Eximus stealing your health or energy, all while there's loads of normal mobs trying to kick your ass in the middle of a big mess of ability effects, which makes it damn near impossible to see what the fuck is going on. Pretty much bullshit status right there, but like I said, that is a worst case scenario. Imagine an Eximus unit in Nidus's long grass with the same energy colour as the weak points, you can't see them. Or in Vauban's vortex spinning round and round while draining your health and energy. Actually, that might be quite funny. You need those fuckers to stay still so as you can shoot those weak points. Right now in the game, without this being added, Eximus units are already a huge threat in high level missions. They steal our health quickly, they steal our energy quickly, they slow us down to a snail's pace, all before we can find them and actually deal with them. Now, these same units will have a longer time to remove our energy and sap our health because of this invulnerable stage. So again, there's just way too many what ifs to properly discuss this topic until we actually see how it plays out and what way they implement it, because it is a work in progress and a lot of these things might change and it might not be as much of an issue once it actually gets added, and it might be something relatively simple to deal with these weak points. We won't know until it actually gets added, or until we know more about it, or until I guess they talk a bit more about it on the forums and address some of these issues. This system is definitely going to be added pretty soon, and I'm not sure what you guys think of having invulnerable Eximus units. By all means, let me know in the comment section below. I really don't like this idea. Having a 50% chance to spawn in an invulnerable Eximus beyond level, I think it was 80, it means that every second Eximus that spawns in will have an invulnerable stage and will have those weak points on it, which could be absolute mayhem and not fun at all. And right now, like I said, this is only on infested units, so we can only imagine what it will be like on Corpus and Grineer Eximus units. Imagine an invincible Corpus tech guy who's standing inside a nullifier bubble, so you can't crowd control him, which means you need to get inside that nullifier bubble, destroy the nullifier, and then get away from him in order to crowd control him to deal with those weak points. It's going to be absolutely crazy, not to mention what the Grineer units will be like. Imagine it on a Napalm or a Bombard Eximus. Fuck that. Crowd control frames might become even more of a must-have in every squad when running sorties. If your favourite Warframe has no crowd control, then chances are your value in a public squad just went right downhill. Weapons like the Cyanide Simulator, Tonkor, Ignis and other area of effect types of weapons might also become the must-have meta, which means weapon diversity just went right out the window as well. Not everyone likes running with these types of AoE weapons, but you might need them. Of course, that's if area of effect weapons actually destroy the weak points to begin with, because we don't know if they do or if they don't. No one mentioned the effectiveness of weapons on these weak points. At one point, Rebecca did talk about having to take your pistol out to maybe deal with them, so we don't know. But again, these are all what ifs, and it would be really nice if DE addressed a lot of these issues, so as I guess we could calm the community down a bit and we could know what to fully expect once this gets added into the game. During the dev stream, we also got to see the up and coming visuals of Warframe's abilities, which is a lot of shit going on at one time on your screen. It could be a bit of an eyesore depending on your energy colour, but the way the moves sync with the tune is pretty damn cool. They also showed us the new sentient carrier type of enemy that can create new sentience as they absorb the spark of sentience that you have already killed. So when you kill a sentient, it drops that spark, and this carrier will basically hoover up that spark and it will put it into a new sentient, which you will then have to kill as well. So killing this new carrier type of enemy, I guess, will be a priority, or else you will have a never-ending supply of sentience kicking your ass. They quickly mentioned the Nef Annual boss fight and how nothing much has happened in terms of developing the fight itself yet, but they showed us his moving platform, which looks like this. Oh wait, wrong image, sorry. So they mentioned that his boss mechanic might be some kind of a magnetic field surrounding him that players will have to turn off in order to damage him, which means he has an invulnerable stage you need to turn off. They also showed off the new Ambulus boss model, which looks beefy as fuck, a big muscular moa. They mentioned having to damage its armor to strip it down before it becomes vulnerable to attacks, so it's got weak points and maybe is invulnerable to attacks until you destroy these weak points, which all sounds very familiar, but more on that later. The Maw from the War Within quest might be showing up in normal gameplay for our Tenno to deal with or to battle, which is great. I know so many of you loved that bit of the quest line. You guys loved fighting the Maw. This battle may be another Kuva Guardian type of scenario where we will have to use our Tenno to make them vulnerable to damage. And I'm only thinking that because they mentioned the similarities between Kuva Guardians and the Maw when talking about this fight. So I think it's sounding like another enemy with an invulnerability stage until you weaken it and actually be able to damage it. I'm sensing a bit of a pattern here with their train of thought. Of course, it is a work in progress, so anything can be changed before it actually makes it into the game. Next up, we got to see a new corpus enemy type that's making its way into the game. An enemy that will drop a fabricator on the ground that will spawn miniature drones that will be really weak but really annoying. In the footage, you see that these enemy types are mini corpus hyena models, but they were just placeholders, and the actual model will be something like this and not the cute little hyenas that you're seeing on the screen. You will be able to destroy these fabricators on the ground as well to stop these drones from spawning in, kind of like those corpus fuck you grenades that pulse on the ground as well. We can shoot them. We also got to see a new mission type that we're going to be able to play, where you have to rescue enemy defectors, keep them alive and extract them. This is an endless type of mission, so you can choose to stay in as long as you want and save more defectors or extract them whenever you want. If you choose to stay in, then more segments of the ship or tile set will be unlocked and the difficulty will of course be increased. So it looks like a bit of a fun hybrid survival type of mission, but we'll have to see what it's like once it actually gets added. We got to see the work in progress clan kingpin missions, or cell missions as they are calling them, which are missions for your clan to take part in and progress through. And for this, the game will procedurally generate an enemy corporation or enemy cell for your clan to fight against and work together to uncover all of this corporation's hierarchy. The corporation size, I think they said, will be based off the size of your clan, and there might be special enemy types for these corporations as well. So if your corporation that you're fighting against is a Grineer one, then it might have some special variations of Grineer units, or if your corporation is a Corpus one, then it will have special units and so on. So these look like a lot of fun for your clan to take part in, and it could bring back a bit more clan participation into the game. Only time will tell. Now, they did show off a few other things during the dev stream, but like I said, jump over to Play Warframe's YouTube channel and you can watch the whole thing there, or if there's specific points you want to actually watch, there will be a timestamp guide in the comment section that will guide you toward exactly what you want to see. I think the main topic was definitely those Invulnerable Eximus units. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of these Invulnerable Eximus units, or any other part of the dev stream that you really like the look of. By all means, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, or don't if you didn't. Subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks very much for watching.